All right, guys, what's up? Good morning. Good morning. Hope you guys are well today. All right. Shopify at 63.20s. Um, Apple at 182.40s. Where's my coffee at, man? I gotta drink my coffee. What's up, Beach Bum, Goose, Live, Broke? All right, I'm awake. Whew. All right. Jobless claims unemployment filings come out today. It's a pretty big day. I mean, listen, it's the only real day we got anything going on outside of AMC earnings yesterday. So it's the only real day we got anything going on. I don't think we have anything tomorrow either. It's been a very slow week. Jobless claims are expected at. Obviously, we had AMC earnings yesterday. Jobless claims are expected at 214,000. We'll put that up. I'll get some music playing as well. Hold on. AMC sucks. Listen, I get it. AMC didn't really move at all either. After all this stuff, it didn't. It didn't really move at all after this whole thing. AMC hasn't moved really. Bank of England rate decision. Do you look? Do you see a bullish pennant on Nvidia on the hourly chart? Are you talking about this right here? That? Is that what you're talking about? All right, so I'm looking at the economic calendar today. Honestly, I'm just ready for this week to end. Bank of England rate decision. They're expecting a pause at 5.25. We got jobless claims numbers. But yeah, it's a pretty slow day. I mean, we got the 30-year bond auction at 1 o'clock. And then tomorrow is basically a nothing day either. We got Bowman speaking tomorrow, so we'll see. Again, it's kind of a slow week. I'm ready for this week to end and next week to start. What's up, bro? Sweden is already cut. All right. Yeah. Yeah, so I know we got a late donation yesterday. I forgot to send out or whatever. I closed the stream by the time I really saw it, so my bad. Thank you for the dono. Y'all can hear the music, right? Oh, no, y'all can't, dude. I've been sitting here rocking out to the music all morning. You can't even hear it. This is good music, too. Let me see. Jobless claims data CPI are fake numbers. I mean, listen, dude. You know, like, nobody, like, honestly, it's so predictable. All right. I'm not saying the numbers are, like, you know, perfect. But people who are saying this are just kind of regurgitating back because they've been wrong. You know, so like, here's an example, right? If somebody tells you the market's going to crash, right? Somebody tells you the market's going to crash, it's going to be the end of the world, right? Which is a terrible prediction this year anyway, because it's an election year. It's just less likely that the market's going to crash this year. But if somebody tells you the market's going to crash, or if you want to believe that and say, oh, the market's going to crash, and then it doesn't, right? Who do you think's out here telling people the numbers are fake? They should really be worse. The market should really be down. It's kind of like the AMC crowd saying, hey, you know, AMC would have gone over 1,000, but manipulation, bro. You know, like, it's the same thing. You know, and again, that's what I hear in my head when I hear anybody complain about economic data. You know, and so listen, it's all good. Yeah, it's all good. Jobless claims numbers are just week-to-week unemployment filings. It's just how many people are filing for unemployment week to week. I mean, I followed the numbers. I'm not even going to say I believe them. What I'm going to say, though, is that I followed them and that, you know, nobody cries manipulation more than somebody that's wildly wrong about a prediction. That's all I'm saying, okay? And I've seen it for years. Like, listen, I've seen it for years. So it's all good, brother. It's all good, man. I'm not against you. I try to tell people that so they understand I'm not against you. I just try to snap people out of it because people get so rigid in their views that they don't really, like, let me guess, Raven, you think the market's gonna crash? Be honest, be real for a second. You think the market's gonna crash, don't you? I'm sure now you're gonna be like, oh no, I don't believe that, just to kind of, you know, but like, it's all good, bro. It's all good. All right. At some point, I mean, lots of people losing jobs and debt is at all-time highs. Yep. How did I know that? Bumble shares started to look interesting. What's the symbol for them? I have no idea whether you should sell BKKT. To be honest, it looks like a terrible, terrible penny stock. But, I mean, it's up a little bit, but long term it looks horrible. Like, bad, bad. This is one of those meme stocks that, you know, a bunch of retail got talked into buying. Listen, I appreciate your DD. However, you can stop knocking AMC, and you have a bias, I understand. However, if there was not so much evidence that there is a problem in the markets, people would have already left AMC. I mean, listen, brother. People have already left AMC, dude. I'm in AMC. However, just take that and look what's going on with their stock. Yeah, but here's the problem, bro. Like, okay. Like, again, like, it's so easy to mislead retail, dude. It's so easy to mislead them, right? Like, here's an let's take a look at JDT or DJT stock. All right. So let me guess. You're saying because this happened. You're saying because this happened, that somehow Big Brother's out to get this stock. Is that correct? Is that correct? I just want to know. Because here's the problem. DJT, all right, is not behaving unlike a lot of other stocks like this. I'm looking at the fundamentals of this company here. Hold on. Yeah, DJT's got a float of 6.5 million shares. Less than that, actually, 6.3 million shares. Of course it's making crazy big moves. Of course people are manipulating it, right? That's what happens when you got a float under 7 million, is that, listen, people are going to manipulate it, especially if it's a political stock, you know? And so, look, I get it. It might make you feel better if they pander to you guys and say, hey, you're helping fight the good fight. You know, just hold a depreciating asset for us, guys. You know, fight the good fight for us. Hold a depreciating asset, you know? But, like, you've got to be more resilient to that type of stuff, man. Like, yeah, I don't know what more else I could say. It's all love here, brother. It's all love here. But you got to be smarter than that, man. Cheers to you, you know? Anyways, we're going to go back to the real world. Speaking of AMC, I'm in it. I hope it goes up. I think there might even be some value down here. You know, I told people this yesterday. I think there might be some value down here. I'm in it. I hope it goes up. It's down so much. Movie theaters, I think, are always going to be a thing. I think AMC is dealing with the transition of a lot of people going direct to streaming instead of going see movies. Movie theaters being a little bit more strict and rigid in terms of what movies they put out in theaters and do press runs for. But I think now that that's mostly done, I think AMC, there might be some value down here. I don't know. I'm in it. I hope it goes up. Y'all can hear the music, right? Do you see the short interest on AMC, the failure to delivers? Yeah, look, like I said, Robert, I'm not against you, bro. Yeah, it might sound like I am. Okay, listen. I think there's good and bad things about AMC. Let's talk about the bad things. Okay, the bad things are that a lot of rookie traders that don't know any better ended up piling into AMC, thinking it was going to be the same thing as GameStop when the fundamentals never matched up to that, right? And then when people who were telling them that they would get rich eventually holding shares, which number one is a terrible thing to do in the first place, but when they were wrong and people started getting their pitchforks out, they then started blaming AMC's lack of squeeze on all these ridiculous metrics that have nothing to do with how much AMC is going to squeeze. And then a lot of those guys, again, who were mostly rookie traders to begin with, who didn't really know any better, started believing it and started, getting all upset over all these shadowy figures. The reason AMC didn't do what GameStop did is because the fundamentals of AMC were wildly different than GameStop. GameStop had a small float, hundreds of percent of short float, and was poised to squeeze like that because of big movement within, the community and the company. AMC had a large float, the opposite, literally 10x the float of GameStop. Never was going to squeeze as big as GameStop did. The short float was like 20 or 30%. Literally 5 or 6 times less than GameStop's was. But again, everybody saw the GameStop squeeze, thought AMC would squeeze in the same way because squeezes were cool at the time. And then basically got stuck holding a super depreciating asset because Adam Aaron decided the special purpose dividend was the greatest thing ever, and then 6 months later he said the special purpose dividend was the worst thing ever. Basically did all these crazy corporate structure changes in a short period of time, and now AMC's barcoding at a pre-split price of 31 cents, and people are getting mad at me for telling people the truth about it. In the end, it's just, bless your heart, I don't know what it's going to do. I hope it goes up. It's at 31 cents now. I'm in it still. I lost money on it for sure. Maybe that has to do with why I'm behaving in this way. But yeah. Cheers to you. We'll see what happens. Yeah, well, jobless claims coming to over 214,000. That's the expected number. Jobless claims is how many people are filing for unemployment week to week. Boeing ripped up. I'm in Boeing right now. I bought Boeing on the dip. And don't get it twisted. I'm a bottom feeder swing and investor. Like, I really am. I bought Boeing. My average price is 172s. It's at 180s. You love to see it. I bought Alibaba a couple of weeks ago after earnings. It's ripping up. You love to see it. I bought Intel. It's back up some. Hey, you love to see it. I bought Uber. I'm greening Uber after the dip buy yesterday. I'm still waiting on Shopify, though, but I'm basically flat on Shopify. I think Shopify could have some room on the upside. It's down so much as well. So we'll see if that holds also. I'm looking for healthy companies that are down a lot, but they have to be somewhat healthy. And again, to say some good things about AMC now that I've said some bad things, I think their revenue looks okay. I think they have more revenue than Cinemark, yet their margins are worse, which means that if they fix their margins, they could probably be more profitable than Cinemark, just in a looking at it objectively. Now, I think there's negative technology potential in the future that could hurt movie theaters in general's business, because a lot of stuff's going direct to streaming, especially the riskier movies to do press runs for and to put in theaters. But if we look at AMC's revenue, it looks okay, and it's been increasing, essentially since 2020. Again, what AMC is dealing with, and the reason it's down so much, is because 2020 really threw a wrench in their business. Again, and understandably so. Nobody wanted to go to movie theaters in the middle of a global pandemic, and so nobody did, and it cut their business down drastically. But eventually they rebounded from it, and every time I've been to theaters lately, there's been a decent amount of people there. And so, I think AMC could be okay. I think there might be some value where it's at now. But, again, I don't know for sure. Don't copy me. I'm not an investment professional. I'm not liable. Today we also have the Bank of England rate decision. Guys. No, I didn't buy Airbnb, Goose. I don't trust Airbnb for a couple reasons. I hear a lot of owners. I've never opened up an Airbnb property. To me, it was always too risky, but I know the reward is high if you do. I'm more like long-term rentals, personally. I think long-term rentals have a very good... Like, my whole thing is, like, I want to buy a rental, throw some tenants in it, and not have to worry about it. And Airbnb is not that. Airbnb is noticeably less passive, is what I'll call it. Just noticeably less passive. Bro, did you just say AMC is good because people are showing up to the movie theaters? I mean... I didn't say it was good. I said that I think AMC there's a lot more people going to theaters now than there were in 2020. And so that's good for the movie theater industry as a whole, you know. But again, that was me following my previous comments, which is that I think the movie theater industry as a whole has some vulnerabilities long term, because I think technology evolution is going to cause more and more people to stream their movies at home. I think movie theaters in general are becoming much more strict with the movies that they put out and do press runs for in theaters. And so what you see is a lot more movies going direct to streaming, and obviously that's bad for movie theaters, you know, companies like AMC. But I think people are always going to go to the movies to a certain extent, at least with the really big movies like Dune, you know. So it's nuanced. Definitely not telling anybody to buy anything. AMC had a lot of streams of revenue. Popcorn business alone is $1 billion business. So it does not include all the other plans they have. Definitely undervalued. This is evident. Maybe. I think their revenue is higher. Their margins are bad. You know, people always bring up Cinemark. Cinemark has made money 3 out of the last 4 quarters. AMC has not made money at all in the last 4 quarters. But revenue is 2 times higher in AMC than it is in Cinemark. So AMC has the potential in terms of revenue to fix it, but yeah. Dune was good. I like Dune. Yeah, Dune was good. I like Dune. Alright, Jobless claims at 214 expected here. Y'all can hear the music, right? You should be able to. Here, let me do a poll here. Vote on the poll. Let me know how you feel. Does Jobless claims come in higher or lower than the 214K expected? Higher, lower? Vote on that poll. Let me know how you feel. Yeah, I mean, Netflix, there's a reason for it. You know, Netflix going direct to... Netflix creating their own really high quality movies. It's one of the reasons I've been pretty bullish in Netflix since they, if you want to know like a regular trade that I'll get in, back in 2021, Netflix, right at the end of 2021, at the beginning of 2022, Netflix had this massive dip. Really, it was at about January or February of 2022. Netflix dropped from $600 all the way down to over the next couple months, all the way down to $175. I thought this was incredibly cheap. I bought the dip, and we rode it all the way back. We're still at, we bought another dip on Netflix. At this point, my average price is $572s. It's at $610s now. But again, I like Netflix, and I told people I like Netflix specifically because Netflix creates high quality movies, right? Their movies are getting better. I like some of their movies, like some of their in-house movies. And I think more than anything, Netflix is changing the standard of movies. So they're getting big actors to act in big movies that are in-house, that aren't going to theaters, that are going direct to streaming, and it's changing how people consume movies, I appreciate your lens on AMC, time will tell. Yeah. Never really understood why people are so interested in AMC. There are thousands of stocks. Well, it has to do with the history of it. So again, let me give you guys a history lesson. Some of you guys might already know this history lesson, but I'll give you guys a history lesson in the stock market. So the pandemic happened in 2020, right? Pandemic happened. One of the things that grew this channel, like beginner trading, was that when that happened, everybody was home. I was already streaming stock market content at the time, but everybody started staying home. They didn't have anything else to do, and so everybody and their grandmother was getting interested in the stock market and crypto specifically at this time. During this period of time, the first catalyst to all this stuff was GameStop. GameStop beaten down, low float, high short float, primed to squeeze people, primed to squeeze. And eventually that squeeze happened. And to be fair, in all honesty, to be completely honest with you all, I thought GameStop was a short at $4 a share pre-squeeze. So I didn't like GameStop. I thought GameStop was incredibly risky. I play video games myself, and video games have changed to be almost certainly digital downloading is purely the future. It's not going to have physical copies, and a lot of the new consoles don't even have physical slots for video games anymore. And so that's obviously bad for GameStop. And so I thought GameStop, like most people, is eventually going to go out of business. I still think that's true if it doesn't evolve. But yeah, I thought GameStop was a short at $4. Anyways, eventually I pivoted though, because GameStop started to squeeze. And I don't think I was actually shorting GameStop at $4. I just thought it looked weak at $4. So eventually GameStop started to squeeze, and I took the other end of that. I was like, hey, I'm going to start buying this up at 20 or 30 bucks. Eventually, traders squeezed GameStop all the way to 550s. And I was streaming it at the time. I had thousands of people watching that stream. And anyways, this whole thing was like a big pop culture moment. Everybody was watching it. It was the largest short squeeze of all time. That's still to this day that's ever happened. It was the largest short squeeze ever, and at least in terms of popularity. Movies have been made about it now and all this stuff, and this caused a lot of people to enter markets. A lot of YouTubers that you see nowadays entered YouTube at that period of time, and a lot of them, to be honest, didn't know anything about stocks when they entered and started posting content on social media. They just didn't know anything about stocks, right? A lot of people. And so, yeah, that basically happened during that same period of time, right, when GameStop started to squeeze. Crypto also had a massive bull run. You had things like Cardano, Dogecoin popping off. You had all these other crypto altcoins start to run and start to go crazy. You had Shiba Inu do a massive run, going ridiculously higher than it was. A lot of people got really, really rich, and this is specifically 2021 is when this was. And again, everybody's stuck at home, so nobody has anything else to do but watch these things go crazy. Eventually, everything started settling down from that in 2022. But basically, 2021 brought so many people to the market. It brought all these new investors, traders, crypto investors into the market that weren't here prior to that. Of course, I've been here for years before that, but a lot of new people entered the market at that period of time. So because of that, for a lot of investors and traders, AMC is the one stock that got them into markets. Because again, what happened with GameStop is GameStop squeezed, and then, you know, again, remember, a lot of new people got involved. So a lot of people that didn't really understand markets got involved with GameStop, and then eventually with AMC. But again, they didn't really understand fundamentals of companies like that, and so they started thinking AMC was going to squeeze like GameStop, and it did run up to like 70. But like, okay, if you look at the percentages, right? So like, let's take a look. If you look at percentages here, so GameStop eventually got up to 550, right, from like $4 or whatever. So it did a crazy big run. If you look at AMC got up to $70. You know, we can argue the float of AMC is again about 10 times larger than the float of GameStop. So it had about 10 times smaller range. And so $70 squeeze might have been the climax. Just like GameStop squeeze, the climax was 550. But a lot of people didn't accept that because they saw GameStop go to 550 and they don't really understand float. And so they're saying, oh, well, why can't AMC go to 550? Because AMC's got 10 times the float that GameStop did at the time. But anyways, it brought a lot of people to markets. After GameStop, you had this kind of squeeze craze where everybody thought everything was going to squeeze. You know, they didn't really understand. They entered the market and they saw GameStop squeeze. They thought it was just normal. It was just business as usual. But again, a squeeze like GameStop was the largest short squeeze ever. We've never had another one since. And hedge funds are not stupid. Like, they're very smart. They're not going to make the same mistakes again, at least in any recent way. But yeah, I guess the overarching point is that people got involved with AMC because, or people have a soft spot for AMC because a lot of them, it's what brought them to the market. Anyways, point is, there's nothing else to do. Everybody's stuck at home. Netflix is a major problem store. Whomever owns it will dominate media. Yeah, but I think I think the misunderstanding, Guy and Van, is that the misunderstanding there is that Netflix has enough money to create their own Sora now. In all honesty, they really do. Netflix has enough money to build their own version of that, or to license out Sora when it happens, and that's a long way out. Jobless claims after this month will go way up. Outage season is about to be over for the summer. Thousands of people will be filing unemployment. Yep, maybe. All right, chat. Again. All right, we got 260 people here. Oh, what earnings did we have today? Yeah, I have to look. Oh, we got Roblox earnings early this morning. GCT, Plug Power, Sundial, bro. Who knew Sundial was even still around, man? Fiverr dropped early this morning. They posted 52-cent profit on 93.52 mil, better than expected in both fronts. Yeah, so, hey, they're trying here. Unity is tonight. Netflix used to mail DVDs to you. Now they are making movies. Unbelievable growth. Right. It has to do with evolution, chat. Like, listen, if you're not evolving, you're failing. That's the mistake GameStop made. Right? GameStop made a massive mistake. A massive mistake. Again, their mistake is that if you're not evolving, you're failing. You always have to evolve. This kind of beat sounds like Drake's push-up song. Everybody's acting like Drake lost the battle. I don't know, bro. I think if you make a whole diss song about a non-existent kid, you lost, in my opinion, you know? Also, Drake is basically claiming that Dave Free fathered one of Kendrick Lamar's children. I don't know if it's true. But I know the mom to Kendrick's baby doesn't follow him anymore on Instagram and follows Dave Free now. So, you know. So again, I thought all that stuff shows Drake might have won, personally. But, you know, I think people want Kendrick to win so much that they overlook a lot of stuff, you know. And I like Kendrick's music more, to be fair. But, you know, if you make a whole make a whole song about a non-existent daughter, you know, you're kind of lost. All right, chat. You're overlooking the beef, mate. I mean, am I though? Like, listen, I understand the criticisms on both sides. Right? I understand the criticism of both sides. And I think that no matter which way they go, I think if Drake didn't respond to the allegations, people would say he's ducking them. And then when he does respond, they're saying, oh, because you responded, you lost. I think no matter what, they're going to say he lost because they want Kendrick to win so bad. But again, I think Kendrick made a whole diss song about a non-existent daughter that was a trap. And I think he immediately had to upload something else to try to dilute it, to kind of cover his tracks a little bit, you know what I mean? And so I don't know, man. I think I don't know. I think Kendrick's obviously a better artist, like, and I don't think that's really arguable. Drake is good, like kind of generic but good. I think Kendrick's obviously better, but I think in terms of this, objectively, you know. Anyways. I'd wish they tokenize UFC fighters where you can invest in their growth. I know John Jones and Khabib would be champ within their first 3 UFC fights. A lot of people did. You know, John Jones, when he fought Otani. John Jones and Shohei Otani, when he fought Shogun Hua, everybody knew he was about to be champ. You know, he just demolished I keep saying Shogun. He just demolished Shogun. And Shogun was a competitor at the time. Like, he was up there. So, yeah. Shopify starting to bounce back. We are now effectively green on Shopify. We're green on Uber. We bought both of these positions yesterday. So we did buy both of them yesterday. I'm not really, I'll watch SNDL. SNDL is a terrible penny stock that's been around for years. I just don't trust it at all. I don't know if even talking about it's a good move. It's honestly, SNDL's kind of had a good year though. A long-term chart's really, really bad for this one though. Look at the long-term chart on SNDL. Like, look, the yearly chart doesn't look bad, right? It's green on the year, but again, when you put a weekly chart up, eesh, terrible, horrible company. Who you got, Pereira versus Jones? Bro, listen. The fact that Jones doesn't want to fight Tom Aspinall is ridiculous, bro. Tom Aspinall's literally the freaking interim champ, right? He looks better than Pereira, right? Pereira's a middleweight. Like, Jones obviously wants to fight somebody that's not a wrestler so that he can take him down and do what he did to who's the striker? Big heavyweight striker. Really, really good striker, but has no grappling skills at all. And Jones just basically took him down and tapped him out in like 30 seconds. Right? That's what's going to happen with Pereira. I get it, they gave Pereira his black belt. But, like, come on now. Pereira's never subbed anybody ever in MMA, right? They're just trying to promote their school, and that's why they're giving him the black belt. I don't care how hard Pereira punches. Jones needs to fight somebody like Tom Aspinall, who's the same size as him, a good wrestler, and has knockout power. That's the biggest threat to Jones. Jones handpicking a middleweight, you know, is a ridiculous thing. And I think Jones is the greatest MMA fighter of all time, just to clarify. But because of that, I think he needs to fight Tom Aspinall, not super old Stipe, who is a rock of his former self, or freaking a middleweight in Pereira just because, you know, he knocked out a paper champ at middleweight. They're at light heavy. Anyways, Uber at 66.50, so I'm green on it. I'm also green on Shopify as well. Cyril Gain, yeah, that's it, yeah. Right, I'm pretty sure Aspinall is taller and heavier than John Jones, and thus is why Jones doesn't want anything to do with Tom. You know, he's ducking him 100%, unfortunately. And I wish it wasn't true. I would love to see that fight. I doubt Jones will ever fight Tom. But I think it'll hurt his legacy if he doesn't. I think he's trying to handpick Pereira because Pereira has no wrestling skills at all. So, like, what do you think's going to happen? Like, you see what happened with Cyril. That's going to happen with Pereira. You know, and Jones understands that. Jones just does not want to fight Tom. And I don't really blame him. Tom looks like a beast, bro. But if he doesn't want to fight Tom, I think he just needs to retire. Damn, I hope he can play baseball after all that. Honestly, Shohei Ohtani's one of the greatest baseball players ever, man. I don't care if his translator lost millions of dollars gambling, you know? Like, I'm okay with that. Bank of England. Yeah, Bank of England, they're expecting a pause in rates. I think it's at 5.25 is what they're expecting. Yeah, I've seen Karate Combat. I saw, who was it? Yeah, I've seen some of the fights there. It looks fun. I like their ring. Their ring is really smart. It's got like an angle ring where, you know, there's like a little bit of a it's like steep. It like steepens out as a ring. I think that's a really smart idea. I think that's what the UFC needs to do, because I think that's really smart as an idea. I think that's a brilliant idea for a ring, and I think if UFC did that, it would work. It would work. Yeah. They've already announced the pause. Yeah, well, they're almost always going to do what's expected here. Oh, yeah, the Bank of England rate just came out 15 minutes ago. So, yeah, the 5.25 is what happened. Another pause. Not any shocking thing here. Not really a shock. Again, we do have Roblox coming out with earnings today. I don't know when they're going to drop, but they do have earnings for Roblox dropping. Yeah, so the bank rate held at 5.25 in a 7-2 vote. They expected 8-1. Ramsden joins one of the others in calling for a 25 basis point cut and repeats guidance that monetary policy needs to remain restrictive for sufficiently long. We'll see. Yeah, I don't even know if we get one. I hope we do. I think we'll probably get at least one cut. Probably. Again, we got Roblox today at 8 a.m. Plug power. A couple other stuff. Yeah, my son loves Roblox. He plays with his friends. What is NVIDIA May 22nd? Yeah, I'm just ready to get this slow week over with. Next week, CPI week. Next week, busy week. Will be fun. CPI next week. Shopify is up. Uber, we're green on that one too. Airbnb still dipping down though. It depends on what the PE ratio is. What's the PE for Airbnb? Yeah, Airbnb dumped. So PE ratio wise, Airbnb's got a PE of 21s. I might buy this dip. The only problem is like, yeah, I'm gonna buy a little bit of this dip in Airbnb. Alright, yeah, we're just gonna take a small position. PE's low for Airbnb. If we're looking at their historical results, and again, we can look at forward PE. Airbnb posted yesterday profit of 41 cents a share. Let's go ahead and calculate it. 41 plus 76 plus 663. Man, they made tons of money that quarter. 0.9. Oh wait, 0.98. All right, so their yearly PE or their yearly EPS is 878, and so 878 divided by 143 or so, or 143 divided by 8.78 gives us a PE ratio now of about $16.28. So, you know, historical PE wise, that's pretty solid. You know, it's pretty solid. So again, we're gonna take some shares now. Looking at their forward PE, which I think is another really important metric here. So we can look at forward and see what they're expecting. 0.95 plus 240 plus 0.8 plus 0.23 equals a yearly PE ratio of 438. So their forward PE is noticeably worse. I think that's where they're getting the 28 number as their forward PE. And so if we divide this 438, yeah, we get a forward PE of about 3260. So either way we look at it, forward PE or base PE, I think it doesn't look terrible at these prices for Airbnb. The risk, of course, is like real estate related. Like real estate wise, there's risks. If real estate, you know, we'll see what happens there. I use TD Ameritrade, which is now transitioning to Schwab, and TOS and Thinkorswim. So yeah, I use TOS and Thinkorswim. Dude, this shoulder is messed up, bro. Like this shoulder hurts, man. Ugh. Yeah, it hurts, man. This I hurt my rotator cuff in this shoulder. It hurts. Haven't been in jiu-jitsu all week. Yeah, what's up, Kimberly? My kiddo was playing Roblox. Looks like we're getting 1.5 cuts. Pete Rose was a translator away to the Hall of Fame. Honestly, it's crazy. Pete Rose should be in the Hall of Fame. I don't care what he did. Pete Rose is the all-time hit leader. Nobody's got more hits than Pete Rose has in a season. Or no, ever, I think. Pete Rose is still the all-time hit leader. Not in a season, I mean, but ever. Because of that, I don't care what he did. I think we should put him in the Hall of Fame. Of course we should. You know, they need to stop being so weird with the Hall of Fame and put the best players in regardless of their antics off the field. You know? Shohei Ohtani is my favorite player right now, though. Listen to who growing up? Mahogany John? Who's that? To Screw? Growing up, I grew up in the 90s. All right? So I'm going to preface what I'm about to say with that understanding. Don't judge me for this music, okay? This was my teenage angst music. All right? But when I grew up, I listened to, like, Linkin Park, like Limp Bizkit, Snoop Dogg. I liked Tupac. I listened to all those growing up. As much as I hate to say this, I listened to R. Kelly growing up. But to be fair, y'all would have to have grown up in the same period of time. Like, R. Kelly had a good album. You know, the I Wish album was good, man. You know, R. Kelly, obviously, in hindsight, was a super weirdo. But, like, that album was good. You know, it was a different time, guys. It was a different time. Don't judge me, okay? Oh, DJ Screw. Yeah, I listen to a little bit of him. I know who DJ Screw is. I was never a big fan of, like, the super slowed music. Again, I'm from Louisiana, all right? And so I'm not saying I've never listened to him, you know, but I thought that they slowed a bunch of songs that didn't need to be slowed, you know? Bro, what are you talking about? If you let him in, doesn't that condone poor behavior? I don't care about condoning anything. I think if somebody does great, you got to let him in the Hall of Fame. You know, if somebody's the all-time hit leader in baseball, you're not gonna put that guy in the Hall of Fame. He's got more hits than anybody. One of the best players of all time. I don't care what he does. You got to put him in, unless he, like, you know, with exceptions. But I don't think Pete Rose fits in that. Pete Rose might have been a jerk. He might have been dumb. He might have been crazy. He still should be in the Hall of Fame. You know? Nah, I'm not going to go as long to say that, the general. I think that's dumb. No, don't free him. He obviously was super weird, you know? Barry Bonds. Yeah, throw Barry Bonds in there too. 100%. I don't care. Everybody was doing steroids at the time. You know how many people in the Hall of Fame did steroids? A majority of them in Baseball Hall of Fame. Right? So to exclude Barry Bonds because he did steroids, that's like freaking... It's ridiculous. Everybody did steroids back then. Literally everybody. Everybody in the Hall of Fame from those years did steroids. You know, we're going to start acting like it was only Barry now? Come on. Barry should be in the Hall of Fame. Scariest batter of all time. Roided out. Yeah, but everybody was roided out back then. Dude, come on now. If you think they weren't, that's the problem. They probably still are, realistically. They just got a bunch of tech now that hides it. Alright, guys. Uber's still green. We're slightly red on Shopify now. We did buy the Airbnb dip. Yeah, I remember them, Sam. No, they won't let Barry Bonds. They don't even talk about Barry Bonds anymore. Like, look, let's take a look at this for a second. Honestly, Babe Ruth was probably on the steroids at the time, you know? Yeah, dude, I'm looking at the Hall of Fame. Most of these guys were on juice. Reggie Jackson, Tom Seaver. You were gonna pretend like they weren't? Come on now. You know? Looking at the 90s one as well. Don Sutton, Nolan Ryan. I don't know about Nolan, but... Rich Gossage. Jim Rice. Ricky Henderson. I like Ricky. Ricky's cool. But again, a lot of these guys probably on juice. Ken Griffey Jr., one of the greatest players ever, you know. Ivan Rodriguez, Pudge. Come on now. Jeff Bagwell. Y'all gonna tell me he wasn't on juice? Come on now. It might, Doctor. Honestly. All right, Chad. So again, we bought Airbnb. We're now green on it. We're in Shopify. We're flat. We're in Uber. We're green. Waiting for stuff to bounce back. Roblox drops earnings today. Nvidia mostly flat. I think maybe the market's waiting for jobless claims unemployment filings to come out. Today's lesson, teach your kids you can only be an amazing athlete if you start PADs. Well, no. I mean, listen. Especially early is probably a bad move. The reality is most professional athletes use that type of stuff. That's just the truth behind it, right? Not all of them now. I think now it's a little bit cleaner than it used to be, but I also think there's probably more technology involved with it now. Either way, though, regardless of today, I think you have to look at it under the lens of back then in the 90s. You know, for Barry, we have to look at the lens of the 90s and early 2000s. And I think almost all players, especially batters, like especially power hitters, used steroids back then. Like, that's obviously true. And so acting like Barry was the only one, you know, is ridiculous. And when you see other members of the Hall of Fame, hypocritical, you know. Anyways. Jobless claims always. Initial Robinhood. SNDL. Oh, for sure, man. In all professional sports. And I'm for it, man. Did anybody ever see TRT Vitor Belfort? That dude was doing spinning head kick knockouts and all this crazy stuff. I'm for it. Let him do it. All right, guys. Alibaba. Does Alibaba have earnings today? Ooh, they are up nicely. I'm in Alibaba right now. I don't think they have earnings today, though. Alibaba, I think, is... this evening, we got Mara, SoundHound, CleanSpark, Unity, Blink, Array, Dropbox. Where's Alibaba earnings? Are they already out? Right. Yeah. Again, they were just mad at the Saints and Sean Payton. Yeah. All right, chat, we got an hour left. Let me get a timer up. I forgot to do my timer. We still got an hour left. All right, we got 58 minutes left, chat. Here's the Q in the middle. Q very flat, very stagnant. Most of this week's been slow. Nvidia is still pretty flat as well. Things are slowing down, chopping down. Waiting for jobless claims numbers to come out. They're expected at 214,000. Did we ever get a bounce back in like ARM yesterday? So ARM is still down a lot. ARM is too new of a company though for me to say. Robinhood had earnings. They're up to 1870s. Airbnb, again, we bought the dip. We're now green in it. We'll see if it bounces back. BYND had earnings and they are down big from it. What a shock. Yeah, a lot of people talking about SBUX, Starbucks. Not a surprise it bounced back. I told people I thought it was kind of cheap, but again, I think the PE ratio is low for it. Plug dipped. Yeah, I don't trust Plug. Plug has a terrible long-term downward trend and a really bad long-term. If you put a weekly chart up, it looks rough. All right, chat. We're going to get ready to day trade a little bit today as well. Be ready. Looking at our poll number, 63% think higher, 37% think lower. All right, chat. So 899.50s now. The Q at 439.20s. Roblox still trying to bounce back up here. I think we got to look at Tesla a little bit too. Is Tesla still down? Tesla down again today, but starting to rebound a little bit after earnings or after hours yesterday. So we still got a little bit of time here, chat. A little bit of time, and time will tell. All right, guys. So again, Tesla bounces back. It's at 173.70s. Q at 439.40s. Nvidia now almost at $900. I think $900 is a big psychological level as well. Q at 439.30s. 439.30s. All right, guys. Put the music back up. John past 10 evals. Hey, congrats, Ivan. Nice work, brother. Do you think NASDAQ, S&P going to sell off a bit? I don't know. I think it could. It depends on what Jobless claims numbers show up as. Did Disney ever bounce back? Down to 105. It's really crazy how emotional people get, bro. It really is, right? Like, an example of this is like with Disney. Again, remember, I bought Disney down here. You know, like I literally bought Disney down there. Silence on this huge run up from people that like made fun of me for buying Disney. Silence, just freaking crickets, you know. Then Disney finally pulls back some after I sold, by the way. Like I actually sold it well before this. I sold it, I don't remember where I sold it, but it was up here somewhere, I think. But like silence that whole way. As soon as Disney dips, aha, see? It's like, bro, it's still green on the year. And so that's the nature of markets, right? Like, I see this a lot. Especially with, like, my day trading as well. My day trading, crickets, as my profit graph goes higher. Pullback, you suck, bro. Crickets, as we go higher. Pullback, you suck, John. Crickets, as we go higher. Like, that's how it goes, I think, in markets. You love to see it. We'll see if it continues. Alright, guys. Hey, y'all hit that subscribe button. My shoulder, dude, is like this shoulder right here. Man. It hurts. Plug had earnings this morning. I know, but Plug is not good as a company. I just don't like it as a company. It's not good. All right. Again, we do have Tesla starting to bounce back up. It's at 174. It's the Q at 440 still. Taking our daughter to Disney World tomorrow. Any good advice? I'm reading this post. I mean, listen, if Disney World's fun. If you're gonna go though, there's a couple things. Number one, you're about to you're gonna have to pay. You know. Number two, if you're gonna go, you should, like, we did this thing one time where they have like, where we got like I can't remember what it's called. We had like VIP passes one time, and this is where you have like Disney World employees that walk with you from ride to ride, let you skip everybody else, and then ride whatever you want to ride. You know, it was nice. It was nice. And so if you're gonna go get something like that, it'll be a lot more fun. Outside of that, though, just make sure you have food. Try not to be too, yeah. Hmm. All right, guys. Q up to almost 440s. All right, so again, we're waiting for jobless claims numbers to show up. We still got 45 minutes. I'm watching Airbnb, Shopify. I don't know if Disney has time to buy it yet, though. Yeah, there's a fast pass, but this was a little bit different. The VIP that we did was a little bit different than the fast pass. Yeah, for sure, Daphne. 226 jobless claims. Hey, we'll see. All right, chat. Also, if you want to check out Apex, sponsor of mine, great way to day trade. We're going to start day trading now. Again, we lost a little bit of money yesterday. I didn't really want to give too much back. So we've had a red week, but that's all right because we're still up nicely in this account. We're just kind of trading it slow and safe, trying to build up profits on the account. And again, we're already up about 1,400 bucks in this account. We're going to start to potentially day trade. Although, again, I do think we might get choppy behavior today leading into all this. So I do think we could have chop today leading into all this. Although if we look at the NASDAQ here, we are starting to get a little bit of a bounce back here. Look at the NASDAQ getting up there. I'm going to short this. Oh my gosh, I just bought 6 contracts. Oops. Hey, we'll take it, I guess. 4 contracts left. Okay, hey, we'll take it. 2 contracts now. Again, the idea now is that we're going to have choppy behavior leading into the economic report. And then we might get volatility afterwards. So that's the idea here. We're up about 20 bucks. I might add a little bit more to this too. 3 contracts here. And as we bounce back, we could add we might enter and use the profit we have on the day to add into another position here is what I'm going to do. 4 contracts, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, so we're going to take 10 contracts here. Take a little risk. Again, I think we got jobless claims coming out in 45 minutes. I think we're up a lot. I think we're extended. I think we could dip down a little bit. So that's the trade we're going to take here. All right, we're about flat. Luckily, we got a cushion on the day. There we go. All right, starting to take some off here. All right, we got 4 contracts left. We've already locked a lot of it in. We're going to sit on the rest, though. Give it a little bit more time. And again, we got a lot of cushion on the day already, so we can take this risk. Again, the basic thesis of the trade is that it's jobless claims economic data comes out in about 45 minutes. We're right at the top of the range. I think it's plausible that we have choppy behavior today. So you know, as we head up, we can add to this position, try to load into some shares or some contracts here. And then if we're wrong, we've already got a decent cushion on the day. So like if we're wrong, it's not the end of the world, basically. All right, we're back green on these. Give us another dip here. There we go. All right, we just took a little bit more off. 4 contracts left. I like the dip. We got some room now too. Here we go. There we go. All right, we just took another 2 contracts off. We're up about 40 on the day now. I'm going to try to be patient with the last 2. See if we can let this turn into a little bit more gains here. I like the trade idea. Again, we're trading on Apex's funded account program. They give you a demo. They test your skill with a demo account. If you can pass the test, they fund you between $25K. This is a $50,000 funded account. We have $50,000 in funding with a 90% split. We're going to go and take another piece off of this now. You can see it's very similar to day trading stocks. I'm basically day trading the QQQ price action in futures right now, which is called the NASDAQ 100. It's actually what the Q tracks. There's no PDT rule. I can day trade short, all that good stuff. I'm going to go ahead and get out here. My trade worked out perfectly. So again, if you want to day trade with me on Apex, Apex has paid out over 100 million. And again, most day traders lose. And so again, I think most day traders that try this are going to lose as well, because most day traders in general lose. But it's a lot cheaper to lose on Apex than it is to put up 5K and lose that. And most day traders lose. Also, once you're funded, there's a 90% split. So you're keeping 90% of your profit once you're funded anyway, similar to putting the money up yourself. There's just noticeably less risk. And again, Apex has paid out over $100 million to their traders. They fund thousands of traders a year. Again, the base one's only $30 if you use my link and coupon code, only $30. Understand, we do trade off stream. I have no idea what I'm talking about. I might be wildly wrong about anything and everything I say. Understand, CFTC 4.41, hypothetical or simulated performance have limitations. Don't copy me. I do trade off stream. You're not going to see all my trades, blah, 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 blah. All right. But again, if you want to day trade with me, this is a great way to learn how to day trade with limited risk. And so if you want to check it out, here's the link. They're a sponsor of mine. They pay me money. I'm biased, but you should check it out here. Snow, I mean, I'm not going to talk about that, brother. That's way too controversial of a topic. I'm just going to avoid that. And really, I'd rather nobody talk about that in the channel. It's just too controversial for a conversation to, let's talk about stocks. It's already known Nvidia's going to crush earnings. Hey, we'll see. Time will tell. We're starting to head back up. I might start shorting again, to be honest here. All right, we're going to take one contract, start to scale into a short position at these high levels. A little risky because we're kind of at highs of the day. But I think, again, with economic data coming out soon, I think we can take the risk. We're already up a little bit. 5 contracts. We'll take 6 here. And then we'll use 2 contract increments to cut it if we can. There we go. There we go. We're going to take a little piece off of there, just lock it in. 4 contracts left. I'd like a little bit more gains than this, though, but there we go. Take a little bit more off there. Boom. Take a little bit more off there. Up a little bit under 70 now on the day. Right around 70. Go ahead and cut that there. So yeah, we're up about 70 on the day. You love to see it. I'm in AMD. Where's AMD at? Okay. Yeah, I'm green on AMD. We'll take it. Why does no one trade two-way options? You mean straddles? Is Planet? I didn't even know if they were a public company. Yeah, and again, I hope all this makes sense. Again, if you want to trade with me, check out Apex. Link is in the description. It really is a way to day trade with less risk. I think, and the reason I promote it like this is because, again, I think a lot of people are going to want to day trade. They're going to put up 5, 6, 7,000, sometimes more than that. And most day traders are going to lose their first couple accounts. And so if you put up 5 or 6K for your first account, I hate to break it to you, but you're probably going to lose that. I would rather limit traders' risks. And again, they're a sponsor of mine, so of course I'm biased because, you know, of course I have an interest. But again, I genuinely believe it's good for traders. I think most day traders lose. I know I did in the beginning. I lost my first couple accounts. And I think this is just a way to limit that. Great job, thank you. Yeah, I mean, again, the logic of this trade makes a lot of sense, which is basically that economic report drops in less than an hour. Leading into economic reports, a lot of the time we get choppy market behavior, and so with economic data coming out soon, I could assume that we're going to have choppy behavior. So if we push up really, really high and get really, really strong up here, I think the edge is obviously on the downside because we've pushed up so much. We're leading into economic reports, etc. And I think that just makes sense. We did this with the FOMC meeting. This is actually where we built up the profit of this account, was during ahead of the FOMC meeting. Same thesis, same logic. And again, I think it makes sense. Yeah, for sure, 2 trades. Jobless numbers will move the market up. There's a strong bounce coming. Maybe. Possibly. We'll see. Yeah, I mean, Apex has paid out over 100 mil to their traders in actual payouts. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't think we can knock their payouts, you know. All right. All right, so we got this little pullback here. Still waiting. We got about 40 minutes left. A little bit under 40 minutes. Airbnb just broke under 143. Yeah, for sure. Again, our average price is roughly 143, so we're pretty flat in it now. I think with stuff like this, again, we did it with AMD. My average price on AMD is 148. It's at 153s. We did it with Meta. My average price in Meta is 412s. It's at 470s. We did this with Uber. Average price on Uber 65s is at 66s. So we buy these dips a lot, and these trades generally work fairly well. They're not always going to work. You're going to have outliers that don't work, of course, but generally they work fairly well. So with stuff like this, for me, it's just about kind of sitting on it and waiting for it to rebound eventually, which I believe it will. Airbnb's got a relatively low PE ratio. Their forward PE is a little bit worse than their previous year's PE ratio, but still, you know, all things considered, it's not too bad, I think. Apex is nice, but surely not for beginners and people that struggle financially. I mean, I disagree. I think most people are going to lose, right? But I think if people, like, I think if you're new to trading, what do you think is better? To put up 5K in your own account and trade that, or to try an Apex account for 30 bucks? I would argue the Apex account for 30 bucks is way better. It's just noticeably less risk for a new trader. It's kind of like a middle ground between paper trading and a real account, but your risk is noticeably less. Teaches you how to trade under pressure. If you lose, you're only out what you pay for it, and that's $30 for the base month. Very cheap versus putting up 5K yourself in anything. Most day traders lose. You try to day trade with 5K, you're probably going to lose it. That's the reality of it. And so again, we can argue that for some reason putting up $5,000 of your own money is better for new traders. I think that's silly. I think obviously most new traders are going to lose, you know, and it's much better to go the cheaper way. April CPI will look less bad? Yeah, maybe. Yeah, sure. You could learn on a sim account. I think that's a good move too, Zachary. I'm not against that. Hey, what's up, X? Thanks, man. Don't trade on debt. You're not trading on debt. I'm not sure if you understand what Apex is. The only thing you're risking on Apex is the monthly subscription of $30. I mean, I guess technically that's debt. Just like me buying a cheeseburger's debt. But like, you know, again, yeah, again, I think it's very obvious. Like, listen, you could put up $5,000 yourself. You're almost certainly going to give that back to the market. And so, you know, the more you put up in the beginning, the more you're going to lose. You try to put up 10K in the beginning because you get sold on a get-rich-quick mentor guru, you're probably going to lose 10K. And so just be smart. Try a prop firm or even just a base paper account's fine too. Either one of those is just a much cheaper way to learn. Yeah, it's not really an argument. Again, it's subjective, I guess, but the trader's saying, yeah, put up 5K of your own money first. You know, I think that's silly. I think that's obviously the worst decision. I think it's better to risk 30 bucks, play with it, see if you do well. Trade a base, just use a simple paper account if you don't want to do the $30 one either. It's just a lot. You're going to lose less money. I get it. Every new trader thinks they're going to be some type of savant and just kind of start turning $500 into $50,000 in 2 weeks with their day trading guru mentor. But again, I'm here to tell you that's nonsense. I get it. It's a pleasant thought, but be smart, guys. Yeah, 100% doctor. So is Roblox out? Let's see. So Google might be buying HubSpot and has discussed terms according to Bloomberg. Is Roblox out? Yeah, 100% Zachary. Yeah. Roblox down to 39s here. Yeah, so Roblox all the way down to actually 32s. Roblox is out. Look, we're going to put it up on the top screen. Look at Roblox here. Weak, down to 32s. First things first, get a good teacher. No trader should go in blind. Sure, as long as your teacher is not some mentor charging you hundreds or thousands of dollars a month to be your mentor, right? Like usually the only people that push that type of behavior are people that have been sold on guru mentors. Like, you get these people that like romanticize these guru mentors, where they look at them almost like celebrities, and they're like such fanboys of like. And again, you got to understand, like, most of them are not really making money like that, and so they're just kind of sold. It's the same people sold on pyramid schemes, right? The same type of people. They just kind of get sold really easily and fall for things. Like, you can learn from somebody like me or whomever, right? But you just got to be smart about it and understand that, like, do not spend too much money on these mentors. Again, most people that are actually good at day trading are not gonna really teach you about it like that, because they're giving away edge, and like it's just not something most profitable day traders do. Anyways, Airbnb bouncing back. We're now effectively green. Yeah, so again, Airbnb bouncing back. Roblox is down. I don't know if I like Roblox enough to buy the dip, though. What do you guys think? Should I buy the dip in Roblox? It's down enough. It's down to 32s. Actually, wait. Let me zoom out. It's a pretty big dip, though. I might buy a little bit of it. We're going to try. Look, we're going to buy up a couple shares. Very small. Not a huge position. We're going to buy up, like, 5 shares. Play with it a little bit. Maybe a little bit more. Maybe we'll take 10. Yeah, we'll take 10. See what happens. I don't mind the dip. It's down to 31s. Huge dump. This thing's down like freaking 25% from 40 to 30. So bad logic, brah. I think brah's logic is actually really good. Do your own research, learn, look at a couple different people, start small, don't trade penny stocks. Most penny stocks are complete nonsense that causes lots of new traders to lose, and really the people that are usually sold on the mentors and are usually penny stock gurus out here slanging courses. Well, you know, like, you know, it's nonsense if your mentor is like, hey guys, I made all this money 20 years ago, but buy my trading course and mentorship program, and I don't even trade. I just, quote, like teaching, end quote. Sure you do, buddy. You know, but buy my course, guys. Like, come on now. Be smart. Be resilient. That's the best thing I could say. But no, I actually agree with brah's logic. I don't think that's what brah's saying. He's saying that only risk money you're okay with losing, because whatever, he's not talking about as soon as you buy a stock, just assume you're going to lose the money. He's talking about only risk what you're okay with losing. If you put in 5K, you better be ready to lose that 5K. And I think that's exactly the mindset you should have in the beginning, because again, in terms of probabilities, you're probably going to lose. He must have had bad luck with mentors. I never had a mentor. I've never paid for a mentor ever. Look, again, I'm not saying, and I say this a lot, I'm not saying you could research a lot of these mentors' courses and find them available for free on the internet. I would never tell you guys to do that. You know, I would never recommend you guys Google some of these gurus' courses and find them available for free online somewhere. You know, but with all that said, I've never paid for a course or a service myself in day trading, because again, you know, I don't trust any of these guys anyway. Like, you can find a lot of free content, a lot of free strategies. But yeah, you just got to be smart, you know. Yeah, I'm not talking about ICT. I don't know what ICT does, Conrad. I've never really seen their content like that, so I'm not talking about them, I promise. There's a lot of people that do this, I guess, but yeah, I'm not talking about them. For ICT, concepts look decent, at least the strategies behind them. But again, I've never actually like looked deeper into it, so I don't know. All right, so yeah, we're in Roblox. I don't know if I want to buy more. I guess I could. Yeah, we'll go ahead and buy more. All right. We bought some Roblox. All right, chat. Hey, we got 23 minutes, 24 minutes left. Yeah, and again, you got the people like, you know, again, and I'm going to say this, but imagine you're somebody that got sold on a mentor, right? So imagine you've spent thousands of dollars on a mentor, right? Tons of time invested, all this different stuff, right? Now imagine that now you have to take a step back and look at that mentor objectively for the fraud that they are, right? That's a hard thing for a lot of people to do. Like, misery loves company, and people don't like to feel like they got taken advantage of. And so instead, what people usually do, say you spent $2,000-$3,000 on a mentor, right? What are you going to do? You're going to go tell everybody, hey, this is the greatest mentor of all time. Guys, this is the best ever. He's the greatest mentor of all time ever in the world. Top 3 ever, guys. Right? Your misery loves company. You're going to go try to sell that mentor that you might know deep down inside that was the worst mentor, the worst course you've ever seen, and that mentor is simply looking out in their own best interest. Right? Like, you deep down, they probably know this, but it hurts so much to think about the time and money wasted that they just kind of block it out in their mind, and they start just telling everybody it's the greatest mentor of all time. I've known a lot of people that were like this. You know, sometimes they even do free mod work for the mentor. Like, it's unfortunate, you know, and again, I see it a lot, man. I see it a lot. In the end, you can learn so much for free on the internet. You don't need one of these. I hate to break it to you, but if they've got hundreds of other students, they're not your mentor, right? Like, you're their customer, you know, be smart. Yeah, well, we're free, so it's different. I don't sell a course either. I don't even act like a good trader, and so I'm different. People might want to criticize me because they feel attacked right now. It's gonna be hard to do. I don't sell a course. I don't even claim to be a good trader. All right. Yeah, I'll good pawn. All right, so we still have Airbnb bouncing up. We still got 20 minutes or so. Yeah, I think you got to be mentally strong, to be honest. And I think a lot of day traders are in a vulnerable spot, and so they're not. You know. Mahogany John, the GOAT. Yeah, again, I've told this story before. I've told this story before, but like, when I was like 12, right? I don't know how old I was. I think I was actually like, I must have been like 9, actually, thinking about it. When I was about 9 or 10, before the Star Wars prequels came out. It was one of the Star Wars prequels. I don't remember which one. I don't think it was the first one. I'll have to go back and look. But before one of the prequels came out, I had LimeWire and I was downloading it on my computer for free. And I watched the whole thing before it came out in theaters. My dad and I went and saw it in theaters eventually, and I knew the whole story. My dad was like, what? Anyways, eventually, somehow, apparently, I was accidentally streaming it to a bunch of other people. I would never, you know, but somehow I was accidentally streaming it to a bunch of other people. And one of the movie studios sent me a cease and desist letter at 10 years old. My dad still talks about it to this day. And so, yeah, with that said, you know, I'm not paying for a guru's course. I'm just gonna say that. Apple, I'm in Apple right now. I hope it goes up. Man, Roblox is dumping, man. Wow. Again, I'm probably gonna keep buying this thing up. I mean, listen. We'll give it time. Roblox is still a strong company. They make a lot of money, you know? And so if it drops this low, we'll buy a position in it, but I'm not gonna add any more to this now. I think this is a good average, good entry. I think we'll give it a little bit of time. Yeah, I mean, even if it hits 24, we'll still be fine. It's not going to be the end of the world. Has anyone tried signing up for Apex? Oh, let's see. All right, sign up. I want a Rhythmic account. Rhythmic. I'll go ahead and buy an account right now just to do it. All right, let me log in. Yep. Make sure. Yeah, this is $36. I'm buying one right now. And yeah, it worked. I can buy it. I don't know what's going on with you, bro, but I just bought one. 50K. We'll see how it happens. Yeah, you'd think you would download the Star Wars movie and somehow Soldier Boy would pop out like, Soldier, you know. True story, man. Really happened. Are those fields all Roblox? No. So those are actually, so like I have these indicators that show up on my chart. See, this is like, look, I'll show you what this looks like. So this is specifically like, look, it'll give me these alerts for like chart patterns that show up, right? So this isn't buys. I stopped buying Roblox. I'm not in crazy big size, to be honest. It's not a huge size, but yeah. But these are just these alerts that show up. Roblox is still dropping though, man. It looks hella weak. I'm trying to see if there's any reason for it dropping like this. Roblox posted 43-cent loss. They expected 53-cent revenue at 801. They expected 923. So much worse than expected revenue. Quarter 2 guidance showed up at 880 versus 805. Quarter 2 bookings showed up at 900 to 903. So a little bit underwhelming in some areas, but better than expected in some areas as well. I'm not sure why Roblox is down so much. And again, we're in it. I'm not going to add any more to it, to be honest. We're already in a pretty cheap price. But kind of a surprising dip here. We'll give it time, though. Again, we'll give it time. BDPS missed ref. I'm pretty sure. Let me see. Yeah, Roblox BDPS lost 43 cents. They expected 53 cents, so a smaller loss than expected. So it beat revenue, or a BDPS. It just missed rev. $20 years later, Apple still only sells the iPhone. I mean, do you really believe that? I mean, look, iPhone, iPad, AirPods, you know. I mean, there's a bunch of other products that Apple has too. Keyboards, iMacs, like, you know, laptops. Apple sells a bunch of stuff. Again, I'm in Apple. It's very green too. My average price is 168. It's at 180s. All right, guys, we got 12 minutes left. We got almost 800 people here live. Hit that subscribe button. Hit the notification bell. I appreciate it. Well, yeah, they're breadwinners, but most people have. Most people have iPhones in the world, or in the country, not the world. Most people have iPhones in the U.S. And so, of course, that's going to be Apple's biggest product. That's not really a knock on them either, I think. All right, chat. Couple minutes left until earnings drop. Very flat day. Very flat market action for the SPY. Big range, though. We did have a big, kind of a big range. Services, yeah. Yeah, I know which platform I can trade OTC stocks. I mean, most platforms outside of like Robinhood, I think. Like I would like TD Ameritrade, which is now Schwab. TOS, you can probably trade most of those. Yeah, Astros are terrible this year. It's all right. It's gonna be a hard season. I don't think we're ever gonna catch up with the Rangers this year. Freaking Seager. SPY at 516 is very flat. We got 10 minutes left, chat. 10 minutes left until jobless claims, unemployment filings. Oh, all right, guys. All right, guys. Jim Cramer says the sell-off may be over, according to CNBC. Oh, no, guys. Oh, no. The worst bull sign of all time. John, you in Texas Roadhouse? Right now? Yeah, I'm in. This is Texas Roadhouse's back room. You know, This is the attic of Texas Roadhouse currently right now. You know, I was about to go eat some, you know, garlic bread personally. It's kind of like, you know, it's kind of like in the basement of the Alamo. It's kind of where I'm hanging out right now. But yeah, I'm in Texas Roadhouse right now. Yep, that's right. They got a lot of new books here. Great computers, by the way. You know, great internet. All right, guys, market's starting to bounce up a little bit here, chat. Will jobless claims come in higher or lower than expected, chat? Let me know. Oh, you're talking about the stock. Okay, I had to troll you a little bit. I didn't even know Texas Roadhouse had a stock. What's the symbol? I didn't even know. I love Texas Roadhouse personally. Good food, but I don't know about their stock, brother, so I'm not going to tell you what to do. There is no basement. Yeah, hey, I'm dumb. It was a Pee Wee Herman joke. The real ones know. TXRH? Good chart, honestly. Texas Roadhouse has got a legit chart. Look at Texas Roadhouse's chart here. Crazy how good this is. Look at this. 165s. Guys, 165s. SPY all the way back up. NASDAQ all the way back up. It's bouncing up a little bit. Again, I'm probably going to short this now. Ooh. Maybe a bad fill. We got 4 contracts here. Again, idea is to play the chop. If there is a day to play the chop, it's today. All right. There we go. You love to see it. All right, we're out. We're up 80 bucks on the day. Riding this chop. Also, guys, if you haven't already, check out Top Step. Top Step has their big $19 sale right now where you can get a Top Step challenge account for like cheap. You know, I think it's like, for the time being, it is... let me find it. Hold on. Bear with me, chat. You can get one Top Step combine for, I think it's like 19 bucks or something super, super cheap. Want to make sure we got the right sale here. Yeah. All right. So I think if you get Top Step X, here's the link right here. Check it out. You're back with Top Step. I mean, I promote both Apex and Top Step. It's not just one or the other, you know. I mean, I promote Apex more, of course, but if you want to check out Top Step, there's the link. Great way to help support the channel. Top Step is an affiliate of mine, so they pay me money. I'm biased, like I always tell you guys. But if you want to check it out, they got a pretty big sale going on right now. You can see the link right there. Yeah, Texas Roadhouse has got those really good, like, biscuits. If I remember correctly. Why 214,000 expected almost every week? I don't know. It hasn't been 214K very often. All right, chat. Hey, we got about 3.5 minutes left. We got about 1,000 people here live. Hit the subscribe button. Do it now. Try it one time. Might feel good. Subscribe, chat. Subscribe. We're going to put it in sub-only mode. So if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. Hit the notification bell. We appreciate the love. Thanks so much. It's the cinnamon butter. Yeah. Who's in NVIDIA calls? Yeah, you might be right, son of Harold. All right, guys. Uber. Breaking up here, ripping up higher. Roblox still hadn't bounced back though. I might add another little 5 shares to it now. All right, so we added a little bit more. That's it though. We're not gonna add any more. Very small trade. Yeah, I mean it's all futures. All right, guys, market's popping back up again. We got 3 minutes, 2.5 minutes, really, about 2.5 minutes, chat. Get ready for jobless claims, unemployment filings here. Be ready. I love cinnamon, dude. Cinnamon's like my favorite dessert. Cinnamon rolls. It's like my favorite dessert ever. All right, chat. Hey, we got 2 minutes. 2 minutes before jobless claims. It's expected at 214,000. It drops right here at 8:30. Higher or lower, chat? Higher or lower? Let me know what you guys think. All right, guys. Here we go. All right, guys. So again, we got a little dip here. Less than a minute, guys. Less than a minute. Be ready. Jobless claims expected at 214,000. We got about 1,200 people here live. Let's see what we get. Sub 190. I don't think it's gonna come in that low. Maybe though. Possibly. Higher or lower, chat? Higher or lower? Hit the live button next to the play button. Make sure you're fully caught up on stream chat. Be ready. Again, 212 to 214s is what's expected here. 212 to 214s. All right, here we go. And here's the release. Let's see what we get. All right, so there's the numbers out. Jobless claims came in at 231, way higher than expected. Jobless claims, way higher than expected. 231 versus 212 expected. Higher than expected jobless claims. And the market did spike up a lot right now, chat. So the market spiked up a lot. Again, jobless claims are out. They came in at 231 versus 212. Way higher than expected jobless claims. This signals less inflation problems. Again, less inflation problems. So the market is appreciating these higher numbers. Sometimes the first move is the wrong move, though. I'm not saying it is, but sometimes it can be. And the market, again, loves this right now. Look at the spike we got in a lot of stuff. If we put up the Q or the SPY here, they're both spiking up pretty heavy right now. SPY technically green on the day now, so is the Q. We'll see if it holds. I don't know if it's going to hold. Again, higher than expected jobless claims numbers. Again, higher than expected jobless claims numbers. Yeah, if anybody's screaming recession, I don't know if they necessarily know what a recession is. The reason the market's reacting positively to higher jobless claims numbers is because the market fears inflation, right? We're actually in the other end of that, where we're not really at risk for a recession right now. We're not anywhere close to a recession. We still have GDP growth, unemployment still under 4%. Like, we're just not looking like what we are in a recession. Instead, the bigger risk right now is inflation problems, right? And I think when you look at inflation over the last couple months, inflation can get sticky if we don't get the market under control. And so the Fed's keeping interest rates high right now for a reason. Like, the Fed wants to keep interest rates high specifically to discourage spending and control inflation, right? And so the Fed wants this right now. That's why the market's reacting positively to more people filing for unemployment, because that means what? It means less spending. If the market genuinely feared recessions, the market would be dumping right now on this news, not going positive here. And again, maybe the first move could be the wrong move. Maybe we turn the other way. It doesn't look like it for now, though. And at the very least, it looks like the market's reacting positively to this, probably because it fears spending and inflation. And so, yeah, we're nowhere near a recession. They changed the definition. You know, again, guys, listen. I know, like, y'all might think that, okay, you hear people repeat these buzzwords, like they changed the definition. Like I hear this all the time, right? Number one, that was 4 years ago, 4 years ago, 3 years ago, you know? And number two is that even if that did happen, we're not in one right now. If anything, we're not in a recession with unemployment at 3.8% and you know, and GDP growth. Like we're just not. Like we're nowhere near a recession. And I get it. Sometimes politics makes people think that we're in the worst it could ever be. Like again, right now we're just not in a recession. We're not in a depression. We're not anywhere near that currently. I'm not saying we're not going to eventually that's not eventually going to happen sometime, but we're certainly not in one right now. In fact, the labor market's too strong. You know, characteristics of a recession typically don't include unemployment under 4%. And so, again, I'm not saying the economy is all rosy right now, but I think people think, hey, things are hard right now, and they immediately pivot to recessions. I think it's an election year. And so whoever's in power is going to try to make, whoever's not in power politically is going to want to make the economy seem like it's just the worst it could ever be, right? Because, again, this is political bias. Right. And again, I'm not very political. I'm neutral politically, but we're not in a recession. GDP growth. If we're looking at the classic definition of recessions, 2 consecutive losing GDP quarters, nowhere near that right now. Nowhere near that. GDP has been growing over the last few years. Unemployment's low. Jobs market has been pretty strong, you know, and the real fear right now is inflation. You know, if we were anywhere near the risk of recessions and depressions, the Fed would not be keeping interest rates high. They would be cutting as soon as they possibly could and trying to bring interest rates down to stimulate more spending. The reason we're not seeing that is because we're nowhere near a recession. Anyways, I'm not saying everything's okay, but there's a difference between like problems in the economy and a recession. Okay. There's just a difference. Like, just all problems in the economy don't have to do with recessions and depressions, right? Like, there's 2 main problems in the economies. There's too little people working, and then there's too many people working, right? If too many people are working, inflation spikes. You know, typically, if that happens, the Fed wants to keep interest rates high, discourage spending. That's what we're currently in. They're doing quantitative tightening, trying to keep interest rates high, discourage spending. Right? That's if the economy is too strong, too many people working, too many people spending, and inflation is a problem. Right? That's what we're currently in right now. The complete other end of that spectrum is like recessions and depressions. In those periods, the Fed's going to try to keep interest rates low because when people are spending less money on mortgages or auto financing, they have more money to spend on other things, and thus it stimulates the economy. Think 2020. Right after 2020, Fed did QE. They did what's called quantitative easing. They brought interest rates really, really low to almost zero, short-term rates. Eventually, it trickled into everything else. And they sent out stimulus checks as well. The consequence was tons of spending. You know, when people spend too much, inflation spikes. And so what happened in 21 and 22 and 23, inflation spiked up to almost 9%. The Fed takes the other side of that and they do, again, what's called quantitative tightening. They basically start letting their bond holdings mature and run off. And this affects interest rates in that it keeps interest rates high. Right, it makes banks keep higher interest rates. They also just straight up raise the federal funds rate, keeping interest rates high. Again, all of these things are used to discourage spending, to keep the public from spending as much. Because again, if inflation's a risk, you got to stop spending. And so again, with what these higher jobless claims show, and this is a week-to-week report, just because we have one report with higher jobless claims doesn't mean we're in a recession. It's a week-to-week report. Last week it was low, right? So it moves. But again, right now we're in a period where economic strength is feared because, again, that means too much spending, too many spending problems, inflation spiking. And so I hope that all makes sense. Stagflation would mean that we have high unemployment and high inflation, right? We have unemployment under 4%. So we're not in stagflation either. Not yet. If unemployment starts to spike, maybe, but not yet. I mean, election years are usually going to have market rips, and you know, again, they're going to do what they can to prop up the market. But again, you also have to understand, like, politics pulls people in all these different ways, and what people are really reeling from Okay, what people are really upset about is inflation, right? So again, like the reality is, if the Fed pushed interest rates down, people would complain about inflation. If the Fed keeps interest rates high, people are going to complain about economic weakness or whatever the consequence of the Fed's decisions are. So people aren't going to be happy regardless. What people are really unhappy about right now is inflation, right? And it's not really inflation now. Inflation currently, it's very rarely going to literally go down. Inflation's very rarely going to actually go down. The best we can do is slow it down. And so right now, inflation's at like 3.5%. It's not crazy high, but it's gone up so much, specifically from like 2020 and beyond, that people are still feeling those high prices, right? But the best we can do is try to slow it down. And so because people have high prices, they say, oh, the economy's terrible. The economy's terrible. Again, prices are very hard to go down. We were in the middle of a global pandemic. It's not business as usual. And again, that affected the market in a lot of different ways. But if prices are high, it's the opposite of a recession or a depression, right? It's the complete opposite in terms of economics. With prices are high and people are feeling from inflation, what you want is the market to go down. You want the economy to cool down in that situation. Because again, the reason inflation is high is because the economy was too strong. The labor market specifically was too strong. And so too many people working, spending. It's one of the reasons we reacted positively to more people filing for unemployment. Why do you think that is? It's because people fear inflation. That's what they want. That's what they want to go down. They want prices to drop. Anyways. It's kind of a pet peeve of mine. Like every time we have any struggle in the economy, people who don't understand economics just kind of blindly yell recession. And they don't really know what that is, or like they don't really understand economics in a broad enough way to understand. Most of the time they're just kind of regurgitating political talking points, like they changed the definition and like all this different stuff. But none of that matters right now. We're in a completely different economy right now. We really are. It's just a different thing. And I'm not saying everything's all rosy, because it's obviously not. The real reason people are struggling is because of inflation, which means that you want the Federal Reserve to push interest rates down. Or no, I'm sorry. You want the Federal Reserve to push the economy down if inflation is a problem, right? So in that regard, this report should be good for you. If you think prices are too high, you should like this report. And so, because again, the whole point is to discourage spending if prices are too high. And that means push the economy down, Where did you learn all this stuff? This is economics 101, brother. Again, people could say I'm wrong. This is how it goes. Again, the Federal Reserve's job is to keep it balanced. If the economy is too strong and in turn inflation is a problem, they want to keep interest rates high. Why? Because if people are spending less, if people are spending more on mortgages or auto financing or lending in general, they've got less money to spend on other stuff, and thus keeping interest rates high discourages spending. Again, economics 101. If we're genuinely at risk for a recession or depression, the Federal Reserve will do the opposite. They will cut rates. They will bring interest rates down. They will try to stimulate spending by bringing interest rates really, really down. Look, I'm going to put up the Fed funds graph. I'm going to put up the federal funds rate graph, so you can see like the economy move over time. Right, so here's the these are short-term interest rates. The Fed influences short-term interest rates with rate hikes, with rate cuts, which eventually trickle into long-term rates. But if we look at a 5-year chart, okay, so look, 2019, we were here. Let me make sure you guys can see this. Again, 2019, we were right here, okay? 2020 happened, pandemic, global pandemic. Nobody was working, nobody was spending. The economy was at risk for a recession and depression. And so what does the Fed do? They bring short-term interest rates down to almost zero, and they keep them here until January of 2022, right? This contributed to so much spending, along with stimulus checks, that inflation spiked. If we look at CPI inflation over time, and these are important economic aspects to understand. If we look at CPI inflation over time, look, March 2020, After they brought interest rates down to almost zero, what was the consequence? Inflation spiked. You know, you hit August of 2022 or June of 2022, again, right around here, inflation spiked up to almost 9.1% because the Fed had kept interest rates so low, right? You can see how low they kept them. And so again, inflation spiked up to almost 9%, and this is what people are still struggling from. And so what does the Fed do in turn? The Fed decides to start raising the federal funds rate. They try to start keeping interest rates high, doing what's called rate hikes, dragging the interest rates up. Why? Because they're trying to discourage the hot spending that we got from the 2020 quantitative easing and rate cuts. And so again, they bring interest rates really, really high. They raise the federal funds rate. And what is the consequence of raising the federal funds rate this high? Eventually, inflation starts to slow. Inflation drops from 9.1% down to roughly last year. We got it down to 3.5. We've been anywhere between 3.5 and 4% really for the last like year and a half, maybe the last year. And so again, the Fed's doing this by keeping interest rates high. If you look at mortgage rates right now, mortgage rates are what, 8%? And so again, it's economics 101. I hope you guys can see the trend here and like the consequence of all the stuff the Fed's doing. But once you understand that, it's helpful. Like, you'll understand economics a little bit better once you understand that. I hear so many people start yelling recessions that really don't understand economics. And again, most of the time it's political bias or they just want the market to crash or whatever it is. Or maybe they're really hurting from inflation, which is the opposite of a recession and depression, you know. And so it's important that people understand it. Anyways. All right, market's still up a lot. We do have some bullish action here. There's the NASDAQ, there's the SPY, there's the Q. You didn't know John's a top 3 economics professionals. Not an investment professional, though. Not liable if you lose. Analyst numbers missed last week, but unemployment's still going up. Now tell me if this trend continues, will there not be a recession? Yeah, but using 2 weeks numbers as a gauge on inflation, like that's kind of like saying, okay, that's like saying if CPI drops month to month, that's like me saying, hey, if that trend continues, you know, we're going to have 0.2% CPI in 3 years. Is 0.2% CPI a reasonable expectation? Of course not. Like, we could use that same trend argument to justify anything, but it doesn't mean it's true, and it doesn't mean it's plausible. And it's all good, but we're not in a recession right now. We're just not. We're nowhere near a recession. And one jobless claims, which is a week to week report, does not mean we're in a recession. It just doesn't. In fact, again, we're in the opposite now, where we have high inflation. The Fed's trying to keep inflation down. Again, if we were anywhere close to a recession, the Fed would be cutting the federal funds rate already, and we're just not. Yeah, so Patel, I think you have a misunderstanding about what those percentages mean. So Patel says inflation, insurance rates are high, utilities high, food high. What exactly has come down from 9 to 3.5%? You have to understand what I'm saying here. Look at CPI graph, all right? At any point in the CPI graph, do you see CPI actually go down outside of this? At no point did inflation literally go down. Okay, that's not how inflation works, unfortunately. Very rarely will it ever go down. The best you can hope for is a slowdown of it. A slowdown, meaning this is 9% on the year growth of inflation, like prices increasing roughly 9% on the year. This is prices increasing, still increasing, but they're only increasing 3 to 3.5% on the year. And so the best you can hope for in terms of inflation is a slowdown, not prices literally going down. And there's a difference, you know, of course. So I hope that makes sense. All right, guys, and if you haven't already, again, check out my sponsor, Apex. If you want to day trade, don't risk thousands of dollars trying to day trade yourself. You're probably going to lose it. Instead, limit your risk with the funded account program. If you're good enough to pass it, they fund you anywhere between $25,000 to $300,000. If you're not good enough to pass it, you're going to lose less than putting up $5K and losing that. There's no PDT in futures. You can basically day trade the SPY and Q price action. No PDT rule, very similar to blue chip stocks. And a great way to learn how to day trade with limited risk. Apex is one of the most legit in the world. They've paid out over $100 million to their traders. Great way to learn how to day trade, or if you're good enough and you want to get started for cheap. The base one on Apex is only $30. So you're risking $30 for the base one. If you pass it, you get a 90% split. So it's best of both worlds, similar to putting the money up yourself. And yeah, if you want to check it out, here's the link. Great way to help support your boy here. They are a sponsor of mine. I'm biased. They pay me money because of that. I'm biased. I do trade off stream. I'm not an investment professional. I'm not liable if you lose. I'm not an economics professional either. Don't copy me. You can check out my sponsor right here. Use coupon code BT. We'll get you the max discount, 80% off. Check it out. And yeah. There is a recession. It's ridiculous to think otherwise. Again, in what way is there a recession, Isaac? Let's talk about it. How is there a recession right now? First time someone made it understand so clear. Thank you, brother. All good, Patel. It's all good, brother. Yeah, that's what I'm here for, man. You know. Like, again, I think it's if you once you start to understand like basic economics, everything else makes a lot of sense. You just got to understand what like the concepts I just talked about in economics about rate hikes, like the difference between a recession fearing market and an inflation fearing market. Right now, we're probably in an inflation fearing market, which means it's the opposite of a recession. But once you start understanding those things, as well as like the Fed's decisions, how they influence rates, why they change from rate hikes to rate cuts, and so forth and so on. Once you start to understand that, it makes a lot of sense, and you can follow the economy and markets easier. And that's kind of why we're here. Problem is, you're going off the charts. I'm going off of the technical definition of a recession, which is 2 consecutive losing GDP quarters, which we are not currently in right now. Whether we did that 3 or 4 years ago is insignificant to what we are currently in. I'm going by the textbook technical definition of a recession. And again, you're always going to have somebody say, but they changed the definition. Again, that's 4 years ago. That has nothing to do with what we're doing now. Again, we're just not in a recession right now. I'm not saying things are all good and fine. People hear me say, hey, we're not in a recession, and they think, oh, this guy's acting like the economy's great. Things aren't rosy. Again, people are still struggling from the pandemic effects of inflation is really what people are struggling for. It doesn't really have much to do with the recession. It has to do with the effects of inflation over time. You know, inflation spiked, guys. In 2022, inflation got up to 9%. People are still hurting from those price increases. And again, very rarely do prices literally go down. And so again, the best we can do is hope to slow it down. And it's going to take years of slowed down inflation to kind of make up what people are losing now in terms of prices. I understand that. Again, I'm not saying things are rosy. I'm saying we're not in a freaking recession, though. There's a difference between... Again, I think... Yeah, it's all good. Yeah, earnings are strong. Stock market is up. Stock market and economy are 2 different things. But again, if the Fed was at risk, if the Fed thought we were at risk for a recession, again, I promise you, Powell does not want a recession under his watch. I promise you, he doesn't. And so, if we were at any significant risk, he would be cutting rates and bringing interest rates down. The problem right now is that once you start bringing interest rates down, inflation can spike. And once inflation starts to spike, it can get really, really sticky. It can snowball, domino-like effect really, really, really fast. And again, if that happened, you guys would be very upset if prices started to spike in that big, profound way like they did in 2022. People would be super upset, right? And so what they have to do is they have to keep interest rates high, discourage spending to make sure inflation is under control. It's why originally Powell said we would probably do some rate cuts this year. And in the last FOMC meeting, he kind of pivoted back to, I don't know, we'll see. We'll have to take a data-dependent approach, because he understands if we start cutting rates and bringing short-term interest rates down too early, inflation can get rampant. And that's a bad thing, of course, right? So that's the kind of nuance of it right now. I don't know when we're going to cut rates. You can kind of look at the probabilities of that. Again, you can kind of look at the probabilities of all that stuff. The next rate hike's in 34 days. If you look at, again, 91% of people expecting another pause in rates, like the Fed's not going to raise or lower rates. They're just going to continue to pause interest rates, which is what they've been doing. 8.4% expecting a 25 basis point cut, though. And as you go on and on, the likelihood of a rate cut gets higher and higher. Again, it depends on the economy. We look at July, still 65% rate pause. September is when we're actually pivoting to a cut now. So now more people expecting a cut. Only 50.1% though expecting a cut again in September Fed meeting. So again, we'll see what happens. Again, I think we need to push back cutting rates as long as possible, because again, the real reason people are upset economics wise is inflation. You know, they think it's a recession. They don't, again, they just think, they know things are rough right now and they don't know why. And so they just kind of blurt out recession. But again, the real reason people are upset is the opposite of a recession, which is too much spending going on and prices spiking and inflation spiking. And so if you really are struggling from inflation, what you want is the economy to go down. You might want a recession, you know, because in that regard, a recession is going to make prices go down. Or at least prices, let me clarify, prices slow down. Sometimes they go down. But yeah, so I hope all that makes sense. Anyways, NASDAQ's starting to spike up a little bit. We're at 18,000 right now. We're going to start day trading a little bit more. Yeah, stagflation, high inflation, high unemployment. But again, unemployment's not super high right now. Hey, thanks, Charles. I appreciate it, brother. Thanks, man. Yeah, if you hear stagflation flown out, stagflation is high unemployment, high inflation, right? Not what we're really in right now. Unemployment's low enough. Because again, guys, listen, if unemployment was really high, you would know, right? Like, you would know. It's not hard to get jobs right now. Now, you might not like the jobs that you get. A lot of people are arguing, hey, these are short-term jobs or whatever it is. And again, those things might be true. But unemployment, objectively looking at it, is not super low right now. Or super high, I mean. And again, if it was, you would know. Owns 500 Bitcoin, bro. I wish I owned 500 Bitcoin, dude. 500? What? Let me calculate how much 500 Bitcoin would be. Let's call it 65,000. Bro, that'd be $32 million, dude. I wish I owed that much. All right, market's starting to run a little bit, guys. We're up to 18.197. Yeah, I heard about that guy. Yeah. Hey, but yeah, thanks for becoming a member, Charles. I appreciate it, man. Thanks. Yeah, brick and mortar stores, I think there's, I don't know, I've been to the mall. Some of them are succeeding. I think the real problem with brick and mortar is that online shopping has become so easy, that the natural consequence of technology evolution is less people shopping retail physically. And I think that's an understandable thing. And so I think you just got to adapt to that. And people obviously need to start making money online in the same way. But I think there's also some justifiable business models, specifically fashion companies are justified. Brick and mortar retail stores are a little bit more resilient to, mail order goods because people want to try on clothes before they buy them most of the time. There's a couple other convenience brick and mortar stores that are going to be fun. No, chat, still got 30 minutes. 30 minutes. All right, what about AMC today? Did AMC move at all? No. Again, Uber, rip it up. I'm in Uber. Shopify, I'm green. Uber, I'm green. Roblox, I'm starting to look better here. What else did I buy today? Oh, we're actually green in equities. Gold's been treating me right. Airbnb, we bought Airbnb. It's up. Yeah, I did actually know that, Daphne, in terms of smell. About shepherds. Shepherds are the #2 smartest dogs in the world. Actually, I think they're the #3 smartest dogs. I think it goes Border Collie, Poodle, German Shepherd is, I think, the list of most intelligent dogs. Yeah, I'm in Apple right now. I don't know if it's going to keep going higher, but I'm in Apple. Shopify actually started to bounce back a little bit as well here. Again, we bought the dip in Shopify. We bought the dip in Uber as well. We bought the dip in Airbnb. They're all going okay. Airbnb is up nicely. So we bought that dip. We'll see if it holds. All right. Market's starting to turn a little bit. I might buy this dip. We're going to take 2 contracts here on this pullback. And you don't love to see it. Let's see if we retrace back up. I'm going to take a little piece off of here. I'm going to limit my losses and take a piece off. Even if it turns on me and we go green, I just don't trust it enough. Don't lie, bro. Come here. Buddy, are you really trying to lie and act like your friends are playing right now while they're at school?
No, then you're sick.
You sure? Okay, dude, the only way you can play video games right now is if one of your friends is playing. That's it. And I'm gonna check too. You understand? And if you're lying, I'm gonna ban you from video games all day. You understand? Okay. Alright. Alright, go ahead, bro. Alright. Alright, so we just made a little $20. We're up about 100 on the day now. Alright, we'll see if Roblox continues to bounce back. Alright, market's starting to rip back up too. All right, chat. We still got about a couple minutes until opening bell. I'm sitting tight here. We're just kind of waiting. Beagles are great. They're just so freaking loud. I used to have a beagle named Snoop. Dude, he was a lot like they never shut up, dude. They're just yeah. I love them. They're cool dogs. They're sweet dogs. They really are. And I guess to be fair, they were bred to do that, but like never got another beagle after that. Spy at 517, holding right there. We are starting to get a bounce back as well. Yeah, Border Collies, smartest dogs in the world, man. You can see videos of them online. I'm gonna sell a piece of Airbnb just to lock it in. Just to protect the trade. Just a little 25%. We're gonna hold the rest, I think. Alright, we're right at the top of the range. I don't know if I want to short this again. I think eventually it's going to break the top. We got a nice little $100 profit. Bro, everything is a conspiracy now. Stop it. 100% I agree with you. You know, again, I'm not saying the economy's all rosy, but like, I've always said it, nobody cries manipulation more than somebody that's wildly wrong about an outcome or prediction in markets. Nobody, right? So if you want to know who the people screaming manipulation are, it's usually the people that are the most wrong about things, right? And usually it has to do with like a lack of knowledge and fundamentals and other stuff that causes them to be wrong. You know, the economics one, a lot of it has to do with the lack of understanding about what economics really is and how it works with the Federal Reserve. And so I think another problem I talk about a lot is like you got a bunch of YouTubers telling people the market's always about to crash. Some of them literally post a crash prediction every other week. And then when they're wrong, they upload a bunch more content, dilute it, and then upload another crash prediction. Then they're wrong again, they upload a bunch more content to where they're wrong so much about crashes, but they lead a lot of people astray, you know. All right, so markets rip it up here, chat. Gold, Alibaba doing well, Uber, Shopify, that's my dog Rosie, great dog. Yeah. All right, market bouncing. Do me a favor, hit that sub button if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell. I appreciate the love. Markets are opening up in about 23 minutes, chat. 23 minutes. I've been basically, I got a nice little cushion on the day. I'll see if it holds. Bro, how do you spend $10,000 a week at Cheesecake Factory? I don't even like Cheesecake Factory. I'm not like that girl who denied the date with the guy because of Cheesecake Factory, but like, I've been there. It's not that good. Like, I'm not really a big fan of Cheesecake Factory. Even their desserts, like, it's not that good. Yes. Yeah, you need to put the game up if he's not playing. Now. Like, right now. Okay. Alright, bud. Love you, man. Even 5K a week's tough. I don't know what he's buying over there. Again, market's starting to run up a little bit. I'm in Airbnb. It's bouncing back nicely. Shopify bouncing back too. Even Roblox is starting to move back up. I'm gonna take a little bit more off of Airbnb. Again, we're in it. We bought the dip. We're almost green in Roblox too, to be honest. All right, guys. So again, 18.2s, 18.3s for the Nasdaq. So the Nasdaq's still heading up. I might start to short, but I think everything's also down enough to where we might get some good trades. 20 minutes left, chat. 20 minutes left. Again, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell. Help me get. We're pushing towards 140,000 subscribers. It's a slow week right now. We don't really have much going on this week, which is okay. Next week's crazy busy, which is good. I'm pretty sure the next couple weeks are busy too. Let me see. So yeah, like next week, let me see what else we got. What was I in the middle of doing here? I forgot what I was about to do. What was I about to do? Oh well. I'm in New Jersey, 18.2. Oh, yeah, I know what I'm about to do. I'm about to look up what's going on next week. So, again, next week, we got CPI data. Monday's pretty quiet, but it's the CPI week. Tuesday, we have PPI dropping before CPI, which is kind of weird, but they do this occasionally. We also have the OPEC monthly report on Tuesday. So, oh, we also have Powell speaking at 10 a.m. next Tuesday. Ooh. Big week next week. I'm ready for it, chat. Let me see what's Powell speaking again on Tuesday the 14th. I get excited when Powell speaks, if you can't tell, because it's so good for my channel. Every time Powell speaks, I get tens of thousands of views. We get thousands of people watching. Let me check the calendar here for May. I don't see anything though, but they say he's speaking next week. We got Bowman speaking this Friday. Anybody know where Powell's speaking at? We got the Fed minutes report on the 22nd. Ooh. Honestly, I'm really excited, dude. I'm super excited. The reason I'm excited is because the last NVIDIA stream we did was also on an FOMC day, and we got almost 100,000 views for the last NVIDIA earnings. We had 14,000 people watching. And so it's the same schedule. So we got the Fed minutes report on the 22nd. We've got Nvidia earnings on the 22nd. I'm pretty sure, right? Let me make sure they're set in stone, but I'm pretty sure they are. They are, and it's confirmed too. Good. All right, guys. Hey, we got Roblox starting to move up as well. The real ones watch every video. Hey, they do. I appreciate the 700 that are here. Yeah. But again, in terms of like growth, I'm really proud of this channel. It's grown a lot. Even on the slow days, we get 500, 600, 700 live viewers. The big days, we get thousands and thousands. You know, for having a lot of big networks out there, my channel really competes with them well. For being just me, you know, of course, Pawn and we got some other contractors help run the channel, but being the only face of my channel here, I'm proud of the channel. It's grown a lot. We've evolved is the real key. You know, we started off in penny stocks, lost a bunch of money, just pure day trading. Eventually we evolved to blue chips, investing, value investing, swing trading, futures, economics, Powell talks, Fed decisions. Like we just kind of evolved over time. And I think if you run a business, you got to evolve. And so appreciate the love, guys. Thanks so much for helping me grow this channel. Yeah, it's crazy. And again, it's probably going to get crazier for this next NVIDIA earnings. It's at 4:20 is when the earnings drop. The conference is at 5. So it's a big day for sure. I'm still trying to see where Powell speaks at on May. Does anybody know what Powell's supposed to say on May? Bars. It used to be mixtape coming soon when you would make this joke, but now mixtapes aren't really a thing. And so now the young people just say bars. Sorry, I troll my daughter with using young people slang. I'll come at her with, you know, no cap bussin', you know. Anyways. Anybody know, but can anybody, wait. So we got Powell speaking on May 14th. Does anybody know for what? Is it the International Monetary Fund? I know we have the semi-annual monetary policy report to Congress, but I'm not sure what he's supposed to do speaking on May 14th. They'll probably update me a little bit later. Netherlands foreign banking. Got you. Appreciate it. Well-deserved channel growth, John. Hey, thanks, brother. Fire has actually been like pretty time. Like in the 90s, you use like dope. Like, hey, that's fire. You know, originally a lot of it stems from like a lot of the young people slang stems from like cannabis. To be honest, if you look at it objectively at the history of the slang, it originated from cannabis. Like mid is a shortened form of mid-grade, you know? Like, hey, is that KB? Is that mid? Is that swag? Right? Like, it's all like cannabis terms. Same thing with fire. Fire is also a cannabis term that eventually evolved into everything else. There's a trade evade aspect of it. Netherlands foreign bankers. Okay, I found it. So special event with Chair Powell and President Klaus is on May 14th at 10 a.m. is what this is. It's the FBA, the Foreign Bankers Association in the Netherlands, is what this is. So yeah, I found it. Thanks for the update, though. I was looking for it. I appreciate it. Again, we got the opening bell in about 11 minutes or so. I'm referring to T when I say swag. Of course you are. I mean, so am I, you know. People on Wall Street bets are mostly trust fund kids throwing 10K of their dad's money into a penny stock and cashing out. Wall Street bets is a scam. I mean, I don't know if I'd call it a scam. I would call it misled gambling. I'd call it misled gambling, mostly. Scam's a strong word, but misled. Dumb money, you know. How are Meta calls looking? I don't know. I bought Meta after the dip. I'm in it right now. I hope it continues to rise. My average price in Meta is 412, roughly. It's at 472s right now, so really good position in Meta. I've already taken most of the position off, though, but not too bad. Not too bad. And again, I'm not a cannabis user, just to clarify. I'm just telling you guys where all this old slang came from. Never mind. Too political. But I'm looking at some stuff. All right, so markets are still heading up a little bit. Again, I'm probably going to stop trading for now. We got a $100 cushion heading into the opening bell. I'll see if it holds. Are you guys bullish, bearish on the SPY? I mean, I'm bullish on the SPY long term. I mean, anybody that's not bullish on the SPY long term usually doesn't understand broad markets. Typical cannabis user response. I mean, no, listen, I'm too neurotic as a person to use cannabis. I'm not saying I've never have, but I was always too paranoid as a person to ever enjoy it. You know. So I don't have anything morally against it, and I believe we should legalize it and tax it because people are going to consume it regardless of whether it's legal, and I think that it's objectively less harmful than a lot of legal things out there: alcohol, tobacco, just to name a few, sugar, you know, freaking soda. I think it's objectively less harmful, and we have to have an even standard of legalization here in this country. If not, we look ridiculous. And I think there's just been a lot of negative propaganda out there against it for years, mostly to justify pharmaceutical companies, you know, getting us addicted on much more harmful things. And in the end, we should legalize it, regulate it, and tax it. All right, so Airbnb still moving up. Again, we're nicely green. Average price is 143.57. It's at 147.35. So nicely green in Airbnb. I'm gonna take another piece off here on the bounce, and then we'll probably sit on the rest. Not too bad. What did I buy recently? Roblox. Okay, Roblox were almost flat. Yeah, the people that are so heavily against cannabis don't realize they're towing Big Pharma's line, unfortunately. And, yeah, I mean, look, I think alcohol destroys lives. I really do. I think there's a lot of people who are highly addicted to alcohol, and it really just destroys their life. A lot of the time they get mad at anybody that tries to help them as well. But alcohol causes incredibly terrible physical withdrawal symptoms if you try to stop it. Just an objectively terrible drug that a lot of adults are highly addicted to where if they try to stop, they'll literally get sick, to a point where it causes massive deterioration in their brain function over time. I know a lot of adults that this is happening to. And the inebriation level is so much worse than cannabis as well. Like, again, I just think objectively it should be legal, but there's a lot of other lobbyists against it, law enforcement, again, pharmaceutical industry lobbying against it is probably the main reason it's, they're doing political donations too. Sending PAC money to politicians, like it's just, Good morning, stumbled upon your channel this morning. What are some things a beginner trader should be doing? I know that's everybody's journey is different. However, how should I get started? So I'm gonna preface this with I'm not an investment professional. I'm not liable if you lose. Make your own assessment, trade responsibly. I don't even claim to be a good trader. Do not copy me. Again, not an investment professional. I do trade off stream. I don't even claim to be a good trader. I trade funded account programs sometimes, which, understand CFDC 4.41, hypothetical or simulated performance, have limitations, all that stuff. Now, with all that said and out the way, if you're a new trader, number one, do not pay for a course. Do not pay for a service. You're going to have people who have been duped try to talk you into doing it because misery loves company and it's too hard for them to accept the fact that they got ripped off. But do not buy a course. Do not buy a service yourself. You can probably find most of the content that's in the courses that people are selling available for free already out there on the internet. You don't need to buy anything. Most day traders lose, and so if you put up 5K, you're probably going to lose 5K learning to day trade. So with that said, paper trade or try a funded account program. Although, again, I am biased because funded account programs are sponsors of mine, so they pay me money. But it's a lot cheaper to lose a funded account program than it is to put up 5K and lose that. And so just be smart. Here's a link if you want to check it out. Hey, Rosie, baby. How you doing? This is my dog, Rosie. She's the greatest dog ever. Look at her. Rosie, baby. Come here. That's a good girl. That's a good girl. Yeah, you're just a good girl. That's a good girl. You all wet, Rosie. You all wet, baby? Ah, you're gonna throw it on me, huh? That's alright. Alright, baby. Get out of here. Hey. Hey. Out. Thank you. Good girl. Ah. She got me all wet. It's alright. Stinky wet dog. Ugh. She's a good dog though. All right, guys. Market's pulling back a little bit. Oh, there you are. What you doing, baby? Why are you in here? Look at her. Hey, Rosie. Can y'all see her? Hey, baby. What you doing? All right, guys, market's about to open. And she's out of here already. All right. Yeah, she's all wet. Rosie, she thinks she's slick. But every time she gets wet, she tries to come give us hugs. Usually she's trying to dry herself off with with my shirt. So she'll come over here and just kind of be all sweet. Really, she's trying to use my shirt as a towel, and then she'll run off. But yeah. They play in our pool a lot, and so they jump in our pool and have fun in our pool. But yeah, they're good dogs. John on roids? Dude, I wish I was on roids. I don't have anything against TRT or anything like that. But I want to have more kids, you know. And if you take TRT, you can't have more kids. And I do want to have more kids. We'll probably have at least one more. Maybe after that, I'll TRT it up, you know. But not right now. All right, Roblox at 30. Let's see if it bounces back. We're almost flat here. Hey, later, Sam. All right, so we're now effectively green on Roblox. We are now green on Roblox. It's starting to head up. We are green. Market's about to open in 10 seconds. See if the opening bell treats us right. All right, ding, ding, ding. Here's the opening bell. All right, we are in Roblox, chat. I will take profit on Roblox quickly, too, here. At least take a third of this position off as we head higher. All right, we just took 30. Huge spikes at the opening bell for it. We're going to take another 5 off. Here we go. All right, so we're probably going to sit on the rest of Roblox. Bought the dip. We also have a spike in Airbnb currently. Airbnb spiking now. Up even more in Roblox. I'm going to take more off here. Lock that in. Again, Airbnb spiking up again. I'll probably take another piece off at the top up here. There we go. Locking in some of the gains that we bought this morning in pre-market. Not too shabby here. Uber we're green on as well still. Yeah. Look at Airbnb spiking up again. Same thing with Roblox. All right, NASDAQ turning all the way back down. Complete turnaround on the NASDAQ here. I might short this. This kind of looks weak. One contract is what we're going to start it with, though, so we can add back. All right, we got 2 contracts, 3 contracts. If probably a dumb trade by me, I guess, here. But we'll give it time. It's taking too long here, to be honest. I'm gonna cut this. Lost about 50 bucks. We're still green on the day, about 50, but you don't love to see it. Again, kind of a flat range, a choppy range. We'll have to wait for this range to break now. Nvidia's spiking up to 910s here, chat, so Nvidia is spiking up a little bit. All right, we're gonna buy back in 3 contracts here. Start to maybe enter a larger position. There's 4. There we go. Take a little bit more off here. Boom. Take a little bit more off here. Boom. Back to where we were. See if we can make a little bit more. We're gonna add 2 contracts to this. Boom. All right, we're out. So we're now green. We're up over 100 on the day now. Kind of slowly grinding it up. We'll take it. All right, NVIDIA coming all the way back down here, starting to really turn back around. Again, we'll see what happens, but NVIDIA's starting to really turn. Got a big downwick trend. Ugh, my shoulder's messed up. All right, we're gonna start to short into this bounce. A little risky, but we've got a big cushion on the day that we can play with. All right, so we were in 7 contracts here, 7. Ah, we were wrong. All right, so you see we build up a cushion and then we take larger risks. And then it worked. Beautiful. 3 contracts, 2 contracts. 1 contract. See if we break down more. All right, there we go. So we're up over 150 now. I just made a little bit more shorting this. Pretty good day so far. All right, so we're testing a major support. I'm gonna actually start buying this dip. 2 contracts. Keep it very light though for now, because this can always keep turning down. The momentum's on the downside for sure. Oof. Got a bit greedy here, started buying these dips. Getting stuck in terrible market action, so we just gave back all the profit on the day. Huge red candle though, to be honest. We're still green on the day, but less green now. Again, we're gonna try to make this back here, but definitely got kind of a deer in headlights look just now, unfortunately. And it happens, like I said. We're not gonna make money every day. We're still up thousands in this account. All right, let's see if we can get some better results now. There we go. Sheesh, man. Now we're red on the day. I want to give it time. I like this move, but I think it's also risky. All right, we'll take one last try here on this account, and if not, we're gonna shut this account down. I'm not gonna give too much back. We're green on the day, but and again, this is the point of this account, is that we build up a cushion. If we can swing into that cushion and take limited risk to where if we lose, we're close to flat on the day, that's what we're gonna do, and that's kind of what we're doing today. Today just didn't really work for us once we scaled up. There we go. Now we're looking much better. Back up over $100 or close to $100 gains at least. All right, so yeah, we made $100 again. We're back up over 100. And so Airbnb did end up pulling back, though. Roblox still up a lot. Again, we've mostly taken profit in Roblox. We're starting to bump down a little bit. Kind of a bit of whirlwind. All right, now we're starting to test these lows again. Q's kind of flat on the day, though, so like Q isn't really super down. Definitely getting weakness here, though. We'll take one contract started off. 2 contracts here. We're gonna keep it very small, though. We've lost some today, and I don't really want to give it back. We're pulling back to major support as well. We're kind of adding to this, but we just dumped support again, man. Such big candles today at the opening bell. With small size here, with us using like 1 or 2 contracts to trade, this is swingy. See if we can retrace back up there. We tried to use even smaller size on this trade, but it's still kind of swung against this. I'm going to take half of this off here, just protect the trade and lock in a small loss there instead of a big loss. I wanted to pull back into like a major support level here, but tough trade. We might add it back now. Yeah, I gotta cut this again. This is deep negative momentum showing up. Kind of giving back the gains that we made today. Yeah, look at this dump here. Really red open. Yeah, huge drop. Intel. I mean, I'm in Intel right now. I don't know if I'm going to add more to it, though. We got a good enough entry here. Nvidia's what's dumping. Nvidia just dumped to 890s. That's kind of what's dragging everything else down. Yeah, again, I would buy this dip, but Nvidia looks so weak right now. I think it's just, I mean, we're green on the day, but not having an easy time day trading. Also, guys, if you want to check out Chart Prime, I should have been using Chart Prime to look at this stuff. So again, Chart Prime has been adding a ton of new stuff. This is an indicator service that gives you custom trading view indicators. Really, really nice. Can be really, really powerful. If you backtest just the strong signals here, like check it out. I can't fake this. This is today. Or let's backtest all of them. We can backtest all of them today. Check this out. Buy signal. Hush, Bruce. Hush, buddy. If you backtest this today, let's check it out. They are a sponsor of mine. I'm biased because they pay me money. But let's look at the last couple. All right. So again, I can't fake this. They're a sponsor of mine. But buy signal here. Beautiful bounce. Strong sell signal there. Huge drop. And this is 3 hours of drops. So you can see from 9 to 12. Buy signal literally called the bottom. Beautiful bounce for it looks like another 3 or 4 hours. Strong signal here. You got to follow through. This one was wrong. This one, strong signal. You got a nice little follow through. This one was wrong. But this one worked, continuing to go down. So that's 2 that didn't work since 6 a.m. here. All right, so 2 that didn't work. Let's keep looking. Oh. All right, strong signal here worked. Sell signal there looks like it worked. So 2 out of, let's tally it up. I think we started here, right? Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 2 out of 10. That's roughly 80%. And again, you want to back test it yourself to make sure it works. Again, I can't guarantee any of this stuff. But again, this is just a small piece of what they offer. And they've got oscillators, screeners, back testers, bunch of cool stuff. Even if you keep going back here, look, strong signal, beautiful bounce. Strong buy signal, beautiful bounce. Strong sell signal, beautiful drop. Another follow through, another follow through. And so again, it can be powerful here. They're not always going to work. Nothing does. But try it out. Back test it yourself. They added this money flow line as well. It's only like $40 a month if you use my link. And so again, it can be powerful. I'll put the link up in chat. Again, they are a sponsor. They pay me money. I'm biased. Check everything yourself. Again, if you want to check out Apex one more time, we're up $40 today. I'm probably just going to close it down, chat. I don't see anything that I really like right now. And again, we got some stuff tomorrow morning, but again, it's kind of slow. I don't want to give too much back to the market right now, not too much back, so I'm probably just going to end it. Again, if you haven't already subscribed, check out Apex if you want to day trade with me with a little bit less risk than putting money up yourself. You learn how to trade in a paper account. If you pass the tests they give you, they fund you between 25 to 300K. So if you want to check it out, here's the link. I appreciate the love. You can use coupon code for that as well. BT, beginner trading, will get you the max discount. Again, these are sponsors of mine. We're just closing the stream, so we're doing a couple plugs. Y'all have a great day. Again, we will be back tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning, we got Bowman speaking at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. Bowman speaking at 9 a.m., guys. So we'll see how that goes. Y'all be safe. Y'all be good. Next week is CPI week. So again, it's a huge week next week. Here's markets roughly. Again, kind of red action from NVIDIA falling down at the opening bell. But yeah, I'll see you guys later. Y'all be good.